Aloha, it's Kiana, and here are today's top Hawaii headlines from the editors at the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Also, mahalo to Longstrugs Hawaii for sponsoring the show. Head on over to your neighborhood Longstrugs for all your shopping needs. Former President Donald Trump has been subpoenaed to give his account of the 2021 attack on the Capitol. The U.S. House January 6 committee was unanimous on its vote today to have Trump testify. The former president will likely fight the subpoena and dismiss the call to provide testimony. During today's presentation, the panel presented new details of Trump's plan to overturn his 2020 election loss. Evidence from the former president's cabinet secretaries and the Secret Service illustrated that Trump was told repeatedly that the election was over. He still moved forward with an effort to stop Biden from taking office. This week's hearing was the committee's 10th public session. It was supposed to be the final presentation from lawmakers before the midterm elections, but staff members say the investigation is ongoing. Millions of Social Security recipients will get a boost in their benefits next year. The Social Security Administration today said an 8.7% cost of living adjustment will take effect in January. It is the largest increase in more than 40 years, affording the average recipient more than $140 extra a month. But many say that's not enough to cover prices that are quickly rising due to inflation. Government indexes show that inflation hits older Americans harder than the rest of the population. Medical costs are a big part of the burden. A 3% drop in Medicare Part B premiums is coming alongside the cost of living adjustment. That could give many retirees some relief, but other economic factors are forcing Social Security recipients to tighten their belts. Today's announcement comes as the system is bracing for an expected shortfall. A Social Security and Medicare trustees report released in June said the program's trust fund will be unable to pay full benefits beginning in 2035. The man responsible for killing 17 people in a Florida school shooting will be sentenced to life without parole. 24-year-old Nicholas Cruz pleaded guilty a year ago to murdering 14 students and 3 staff members at Parkland's Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. The attack, which also left 17 people wounded, took place on February 14, 2018. Cruz said he chose Valentine's Day to make it impossible for Stoneman Douglas students to celebrate the holiday. The 3-month trial included graphic videos, photos, and testimony from the massacre and its aftermath. Victims' family members also testified, and jurors were taken on a tour of the crime scene. Following 7 hours of deliberations, the jury was unable to unanimously agree that Cruz should be executed. The case is the deadliest mass shooting to have gone to trial in the U.S. Honolulu police are investigating an attempted murder after a car was allegedly shot at in a Waianae neighborhood late Wednesday. Police said the incident occurred at about 11:40 last night at the intersection of Waianae Valley Road and Mill Street. No injuries were reported, and police have not released a description of the suspects or the victim. Meanwhile, a 20-year-old woman is in critical condition after the moped she was riding was hit by a car in Makiki last night. At about 7:45, a 31-year-old woman driving on Wilder Avenue was attempting to turn onto Makiki Street when she collided with the moped. The rider was ejected onto the roadway and suffered multiple injuries. Honolulu EMS administered life support to the injured woman and transported her to a trauma hospital in critical condition. The moped rider was not wearing a helmet at the time of the collision. The driver of the car was not injured. Wall Street mounted its biggest comeback in years today despite a worse-than-expected report on inflation. The S&P 500 jumped to a gain of 2.6% at the bell after dipping 2.4% to hit its lowest level in nearly 2 years. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended up 2.8%, while the Nasdaq climbed 2.2%. Smaller company stocks also rallied after an initial slide, with the Russell 2000 rising 2.4%. Prices for stocks, bonds, and cryptocurrencies tumbled early in the day after a government report showed inflation is spreading across the country. That prompted investors to brace for big interest rate hikes by the Federal Reserve. The central bank is expected to continue raising rates as it tries to cool inflation. There didn't seem to be a concrete reason why stocks rebounded. Some analysts said investors may have found glimmers of hope in the inflation report's details after taking a closer look at it. For more on these stories and all the latest headlines, subscribe to the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Visit Hawaii's top source for breaking news online at staradvertiser.com and download the Star-Advertiser mobile app. Mahalo, have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.